All right, what's up, you guys? I'm just here with Mitch today. We're going to do a podcast. He's chatting about his trading journey, how he came into the game, some of the success that he's had recently, and really just go from there, hear his story. So, Mitch, thanks for being here, man.
All right, thanks for having me.
No problem, man. Before we even get into the trading stuff, why don't you give us a bit of a breakdown of kind of what you were doing before trading, maybe work-wise, and then we can kind of transition into how you came across trading.
Yep. Yeah, well, so the last 2025, the last 7-8 years I've been working pretty much full time, and just honestly just not enjoying it whatsoever. Like, I always knew I wanted to do something outside of a 9 to 5, and then I was just working for doing like civil construction, in machines like excavators, rollers, just construction type work, and then from that just I travelled a fair bit in 2023. And then that kind of opened after that, because I went solo travelling for about two to 3 months. That kind of opened my eyes up to even not want to work even more of just a 9 to 5. I tried like a bunch of different things. Like I've tried ecom, couldn't figure it out. Just didn't have the willpower or just the mental strength to try and figure it out back then. And then now I've just slowly found a way online just through TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, just found out what trading was. Always kind of knew I wanted to do trading since probably 2 and a bit years ago, when I was doing the traveling, but never kind of took that step to actually do it until I got back again from Europe last year. I did 2 months last year in Europe, and then got back from there, and then I was doing FIFO, fly in, fly out, for people that don't know that. Fly in, fly out work in in Queensland, from September to December last year.
Right.
So I was working 12-hour days, 6 o'clock a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. I'd get back to my room and then I'd study trading for hours till 10 o'clock at night, have 5 hours sleep.
Obsessed.
And just obsessed. When I first got into it, I was just obsessed with learning it.
Yeah. Wait, so how long ago was this? 2 years?
So when I first started locking into trading, it was September last year.
Wow.
So
it's not even a year.
Pretty quick.
Yeah.
Compared to what a lot of other people tend to take.
The reason I want to highlight that is because you've had some pretty crazy success with trading in that short period of time, which we'll get into. But I want to ask, what is it about traveling? What got you interested from traveling? Just being able to do whatever you want?
Yeah, trading, you can make money on your laptop from anywhere in the world.
You're sitting there in freaking overseas, just man, I could be making money right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As I said, I tried a bunch of different things. Ecom, I tried digital marketing.
Entrepreneurial spirit.
I tried a bunch of different things. I've spent thousands of dollars on courses. That just didn't work out. But then, getting back to what you said about what did traveling do, traveling, because I was doing it solo as well. I was going to different places. I was just being free. I just didn't have to worry about work, having to worry about working for someone, having to work for someone else's profits. I'd rather work for myself. I've always kind of wanted to work for myself. And then, when I got back in September last year, I just fully locked in.
Yeah. It's funny, most traders that come into the game have that entrepreneurial spirit. They've either tried e-commerce or tried something else online. Because it's everyone, let me ask you this. Where do you think that, have you always had that since you were super young, that you wanted to kind of do something entrepreneurial?
Yes and no. If you consider wanting to do YouTube from a young age, entrepreneurial.
Yeah, I would consider that.
I would say, I was always one of the kids who would, I was obsessed with Call of Duty.
Nice.
So I'd play Call of Duty, try and make videos, but back and then, when you're 15, your mates take the piss out of you.
Yeah.
So I just kind of...
You got shamed out of it.
Yeah, pretty much. And then, now I've just gotten to the point in my life where I'm I can't be arsed with dealing with what people think.
Really?
So I'm just doing it and just taking that next step.
So that actually got to you back then, is the idea of what people were saying and thinking?
Yeah, it's something I've always kind of struggled with, a bit of social anxiety and just worrying about what people think about me.
Interesting. A lot of people have that, hey?
Yeah.
Well, and what like that? This is probably a good subject. Like, how did you get over that? Was that just like bite the bullet, just say who cares?
Yeah, there's like a main reason as to why I kind of got over it. Like, as I said at the start, I've pretty much been working full time. I got to a point where just from the start of this year, pretty much haven't worked at all. So my first time in my life just been unemployed. And to be honest, I just could not find work. I've moved up to Queensland now for work opportunities and trading opportunities. And down where I'm from, like, just work was quiet as, like, just could not find any work in the industry that I've got experience with. And it just got to a point where I was honestly just so depressed. Like, for the first time, like, I've dealt with depression kind of a fair bit, like when I was in my teenage years. But for the first time in the start of this year, first couple of months of this year, I was having like, not like suicidal thoughts, but like, just like, oh, what if I were to just do it? But then like and then like being that depressed just kind of woke myself up to, you need to stop giving a fuck what people think.
Right.
And just do what you want to do. And that's kind of where that stemmed from pretty much.
Yeah. So the judgment and things like that, it affected you that much? Or was that obviously a combination of things, but the judgment kind of held you back a bit from pursuing certain things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot. Like, it's like my family knows like all that type of stuff. Like, I've struggled with social anxiety, like just socially doing things.
And here I am, got you on a fucking podcast.
Yeah. I know, and then now I'm here doing this. But yeah, like in my teenage years, like, I always struggled with what people would think, whether it be my mates, whether it be girls, like just something I've always struggled with, and just slowly getting better at it, like just not giving a F what people think.
You would have to say one of the biggest ways to get over that is to put yourself in uncomfortable situations like this. Like for somebody that's got social anxiety or we had it in the past, like facing it in a sense of doing things like this, would you say that's a good way to get over it?
Yeah. 100%. Like before you picked me up, I was on the phone to my mum and just saying like, I'm pretty nervous and whatnot, because like doing this is so far out of my comfort zone.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
But no, like
that's
good.
Yeah, and that's like anything in life. Like to get over a fear, you kind of have to go through it. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's paint the picture. So you were in the work industry doing your thing, then you found it hard to find new work, and then you start to explore different options, knowing that there's something in you that always wanted to pursue something maybe out of the norm. You stumble into trading. How did you first stumble into it? Like, what was the video you seen? What was it?
To be honest, TJR, like he's the first person who I came across, whether it was on TikTok or YouTube, just one of them. He was the first person who I came across through trading. And then when I did start to lock in with trading September last year, I bought his course, which was a lot of money. But like I was just so dedicated to just like changing my life. Like I've spoken it to my mum, like just how much I want to be financially free, just generational wealth type of stuff. So I locked in with TJR's stuff for a few months, and then at the start of the year, as I was saying, like I was quite depressed. Like I wasn't really focusing on trading at all for probably January, February. Then I came across you on TikTok, I believe, was when I first came across you. I just started watching your lives every day while I was unemployed. And then I got onto your YouTube live streams. Then I'd become a regular in your stream. Like you'd recognize my name, and then your mentorship, the 2.0 dropped, and then joined that, and then I haven't looked back since.
Nice. That's awesome. Tell us a little bit about that initial stage. So when you were doing the TJR stuff, is that ICT concepts?
Yeah, ICT. So like a lot of liquidity sweeps, FVGs, order blocks, like just so many different nuances like that you got to learn.
Right.
Which it obviously works for some people, but for me personally, I just couldn't wrap my head around it. Like just too many obstacles that you had to kind of learn.
And what timeframes were you focusing on the most there?
As like for
that
5 minute, like 10 minute.
Yeah,
time. It was mainly for the ICT. It's mainly like 1 minute, 5 minute, and then you look at like the hourly but mainly just 5 minute and 1 minute.
Yep. So you're doing that for a while. Any success with that?
No. Like when I was doing that though, I wasn't trying to do challenge accounts. I was just doing it on demo.
Yep.
On TradingView. So like that was a bonus. Like I wasn't I spent money on the course, but apart from that, I learned like all the basics, all the like this emotions with pay-per-view. Even though it's fake money, you still kind of get those little bit of emotions when you first start out. So yeah, like the first 3 months, I was just demo, like every single day, London session. Because I didn't have time for a new Asia session when I first started. Right. So I was just London session every single day, TradingView.
Yep.
Just
demo money.
And just work my way up.
Gotcha. So you're doing that for a while, feeling like it's just not it, not finding much success, doing demo. Did you do any challenges back then?
Nah. No. So my first challenge account I bought was probably April. Yep. When I joined your mentorship. Yep. And then like I've blown accounts, like multiple accounts, and then now I've got to the point where I'm 125k in funding.
Yep, awesome, amazing. And that's over 3 separate accounts?
Yep, 3 separate accounts.
That's awesome. Because the thing is, with getting funding, some people could just like YOLO it and get one 100k funded account. Mm-hmm. But if you can get multiple accounts, it means that you've got some sort of system that's working.
Yep.
That's awesome. So you started watching the live streams. Found obviously something sparked which seemed more interested in the strategy in which I use. Came on board with that. Were you like testing my strategies out from what you were seeing on stream first, or yeah?
Like I was pretty much just like before joining your mentorship, I learnt so much just from watching the live streams. Yeah, like I learnt like the basic nuances of type 1, type 2, which we know what they are. And then like just support resistance. Like when I first started using in your mentorship, I didn't even know what support and resistance was.
Really?
I knew what it was, but I didn't know which one was which.
Right.
Like I didn't know if support was top or the resistance. So I always, like when I first started, I always got them mixed up.
Yeah, it's pushing up and breaking support.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's interesting. And okay, so you start learning them basic fundamentals. It's starting to feel like more suited to what you're interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. And then you obviously came on board, started learning it more in depth.
Yep.
How was it like the first week or so? Were you struggling initially?
Nah, like the first week, like I honestly found like your course compared to just TJR's, which was more expensive. Yep. I found your course to be just way more smoother, way more like in depth. And obviously we get the one-on-one calls, like unlimited one-on-one calls. Yep. TGR wouldn't do any one-on-one calls. He would just do like a call and then it'd have the recording up.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Whereas you got like all your different courses. You got like the type 1, type 2, all those other things.
Yep.
So yeah, when I first joined, I just studied all those different modules in the WOP course.
Yep.
And then just took it to challenge accounts, and I would get a challenge account to upper, like close to passing, and then I just blow it. Just emotions got better than me, just like they would with any other new trader.
Yep.
But then now I'm just slowly ticking away and just trying to get some profits.
For sure. And profits you have got, but we'll get into that in a minute. So when you say because I think that's pretty common where you're chipping away on a challenge account, you get close to passing, and then something happens and you blow it. Yep. I've done it many times. I've done it like at $100 away from passing and then somehow blew it.
Exactly.
Because you get comfortable, right? You're like, oh, I'm there. It's all good. Let me just take this shitty trade and I'll finish it.
Yep.
And that trade's the one that you go down 300. You're like, oh, damn, now I'm 400 away. Then you go down 600.
That thing exactly happened to me like probably honestly only a month ago.
Yeah.
I was doing a 50k account on Top Step, and I think I was about $250 away. And then I put a trade in. I thought it was a good trade. I think I lost like 200 or something. But then just from there, I just went full tilt. Just emotions got the better of me and blew the account probably within 20 minutes.
Yeah. And like anyone that doesn't understand tilt is essentially an emotional instability. Like you lose emotional control when you go on tilt. and then all rules go out the window. And I say it all the time, but tilt only ever ends bad. That equation will never change. If you go on tilt, you might get lucky, but it will end bad.
Yep.
There's no other way around it. So I think that's where most people blow accounts is tilt trading. It's almost impossible with our strategy to blow an account if you stuck to the rules.
Yeah.
You'd need to lose like 20 trades in a row, but it's a high win rate strategy. It's impossible.
It really is. Like I've found, like, as a lot of people do say, when you do kind of figure out the nuances of trading is very simple. Like, it really is. It's the emotions that get the better of you and the emotions that make trading hard.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm still struggling with a little bit, is just the emotions, but everything else I'm pretty good with. But the emotions, is the hardest thing to overcome for sure.
Definitely. And the thing is, I don't think it'll ever, like, that emotional thing will always be there. You just get better at kind of not letting it come to the surface.
Yep.
Yeah, it's always going to be there. You just get better at controlling it and not letting it, or identifying the triggers, like, oh, I'm getting to an emotional state that's, I know what happens when this gets high.
Yeah.
And then you kind of just either shut the computer down, walk away, or whatever rules you have set
to
mitigate that. So moving into some strategy stuff, like you said before, we do the type 1, type 2. Type 1 in like short terms is essentially like a breakout, and type 2 a breakout of a support or resistance level or an area that's been respected. Type 2 is like a bounce off that level. People see my strategy or the strategy that we teach and say, oh, it's relatively simple. It is, but I'm sure you're starting to understand now there's a lot of nuances. And that's where it's like, that takes time to kind of get a good pulse on. You're obviously getting a decent pulse on it now. Like, you found a lot of success. Can you talk about some of like the success you found in trading, like with passing challenges and getting profits on those funded accounts?
So I've passed my first challenge account. What was it? Just over a week ago, I think. No, 2 weeks ago. So 2 weeks ago, I passed a 50K top step and a 25K Bullinox account pretty much within a day or two. And then my first week being funded, I made $3,000.
US or AUD?
AUD.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, like when I was working FIFO, that's what I'd make for 80 hours a week. And I made that in probably combined total over the 5 days, 8 hours. And then even just last night, I had a trade that was for $2,500, which is just
in one day.
Bro. Which is just.
Do you know what people do for $2,500, man?
Yep.
You just click the button.
Yeah. I know, it's crazy. Like, my mum, she works so many hours, so hard, and I just did that in 5 minutes, and she doesn't get that money. It's it's crazy, but.
And that's the thing. That's the power of trading. Man.
It is. Yep.
But with great power comes great responsibility.
Exactly.
Because that can go as well.
Yep.
And you know that. So we've even set rules like. There's things we have to do to keep that money. Keep the money.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's amazing. And like, obviously you're doing the same thing to pass challenges to once you're funded. Like, how are you approaching the challenge phase in comparison to the funded phase? Any differences?
Yep. So after I passed those two challenges, the 50K top step and 25K Bullinox, I did 1 week where I was just with them two, which is when I made that $3,000. And then start of this week, I created a new 50K challenge account through Bullinox. And then that I went, because I have got the more confidence in my trading, I did that challenge account quite aggressively, passed it in 2 days. So like, I had 1,500 one day and then 1,500 the next day. And then yesterday was $2,500, like the first day
on the funded phase.
On the first day of that funded phase. And then, like now I'm just slowly ticking away. Like, now that I've got 3 separate accounts, adding up to 125K in funding, just plot along for, like, if you get $200 in one account, that adds up to $600 USD. That's
$1,000 AUD.
over $1,000 Australian, about $1,000 Australian dollars. So like, you don't need to focus on $1,000 a day on one account. You can just plot along for
on
multiple accounts with just small wins.
And that's something that I teach in the mentorship is like, I can teach you the strategy, the psychology, the system, and then it's like, what is the game plan for finding financial success as well? And the thing that I preach relentlessly is let's get funded on multiple accounts, stack those accounts, and then chip away small amounts per
Yep.
account. And like you said, those stacked together add up
Yep.
to profits overall. And we don't have to risk much of one account in order to get good money.
Exactly.
And also with a high win rate strategy, if you can avoid going on tilt, it's almost impossible to blow them.
Yep.
Unless you lose 20 trades in a row.
Yeah.
Like,
For sure.
yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. And bro, how long? So from the first day you picked up, looked at a chart to now, like how long has that been?
Well, so this is my very first notebook when I very first started trading. My very first day is talking about what candlesticks are. Like I knew absolutely nothing. My first day is talking about candlesticks.
Nice.
That's the 29th of September last year. So,
bro,
yeah.
You've made
So
insane progress.
Insane progress in.
Do you realize this is unusual?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's unusual.
It's
I lost all my money for 2 years.
Yeah.
And that's most people.
Yeah, I know. Like, yeah, I don't know what's gotten over me. I've just locked in. Like,
because you said you moved to this state, like you've changed even your lifestyle in order to cater to this goal.
Yep. Yeah.
So that just goes to show, and this is something I want to ask you actually. From your perspective, if you were to think about the mindset you had back in like when you first came in, or the mindset you might see from others that find that struggle unnecessarily, maybe, have you ever been able to think about like what are some of those traits for the guys that are struggling longer than they should?
One thing I found with me is just as hard as it may, or as easy it may sound, or hard as it may sound for some people, is the emotions. Like that is honestly one of the hardest things. Like when I very first started with the challenge accounts, I would revenge trade every single trade if I lost. Like if I lost, I would revenge trade every single trade. Now I don't. The only time I revenge trade is if it's an A+ setup, which I honestly wouldn't call it a revenge trade. Happened to me yesterday. I saw an A+ setup. First time I got stopped out by 1 pip, and then it pushed back up, entered in. Got to about 15 pips and then just pushed back down to my stop loss, which to me I thought it was an A+ setup. That type of revenge trading I'm fine with. It can be.
You could even say that's giving the trade a second chance.
Yeah, giving a trade a second chance. Yeah, you wouldn't really call it revenge trading, I guess. But yeah, when I first started on challenge accounts, revenge trading was the biggest thing. Yeah. And I personally think that's a lot of people's issues when they first start trading. Like we can see in the Discord, like people will go on tilt a lot of the time, and that's one of the biggest issues I find with beginner traders.
Going on tilt.
Yep.
Yeah, I can agree with that. That's the biggest thing I've noticed is that lack of emotional control, and then leading to a blown account.
Yeah.
And also, you can just speak from experience. I did it for 2 years straight.
Yep.
So I say it all the time, but I could not finish a day red.
Yeah.
Like I'm laying in bed, like, nah, I'm gonna get back on the computer.
Yeah.
And then until the account just explodes, it's like, oh, I mean, I could have just finished with a small red account. Now I don't have any account. So it's like, that's exactly it. Controlling the emotions.
And even coming back to the challenge accounts, with my challenge accounts, my red days would end up being like $400 USD. So that's probably $600-700 Australian. Whereas now that I've got on my funded accounts, as you know as well, we set that personal daily lockout limit, which is, I think I've got it at 150, 180, which in comparison to everything else, that's fuck all really. Like it's not much. So trying to minimize your losses as well is a big key factor for beginner traders.
For sure. And for anyone that doesn't understand that, like with the platforms that we use, either Project X is like the main platform that we view the charts and trade the charts on. It gives you the option to lock yourself out if you hit a certain amount of drawdown. So even if you hit that number in drawdown, your account's locked for the day. You can't do anything about it. You got to go or walk away from the computer because you can look at the charts, but you can't trade them.
Yep.
Which is a bit of a lifesaver for newer traders because, there's a tendency to lose a certain amount, then try to revenge to get it back. Goes down further, and you lose control. So what did you ever struggle with that kind of thing? Or you obviously did in the earlier stage, like you just said. Is there anything that you can think that you did consciously to overcome that or get better at managing that?
I don't know. Like, it's just one of those things. Like, I was just honestly so fed up with the life I I just knew trading was the one thing that was going to change my life. And I just knew like you just have to kind of just force yourself to not be silly when it comes to your emotions, as simple as it may sound, but it can be pretty tough. Yeah, I just got to a point where I was just sick of the life I was living, and I just needed to do anything that would change it.
Yep. Lock in, yeah, for sure. It's funny you say that. I say the exact same thing. Most people's turning point is that point where you're like, enough is enough. Because you have the data on, if you break your rules, you know what the outcome is.
Yep.
So you got to get to a point where you're so exhausted by doing that, or you're so ready to change that you just say, man, I can't do this anymore. Yep. I have to lock in. I have to stick to the rules. You've got a system and strategy now. So it's good. And I think that's a good thing. Like a lot of young, like newer traders, they don't actually have a profitable system.
Yeah.
They have a system like shit they pull from here, and they put it all together. It's not a strategy. It's just like, I don't even know what you would call it. So when you have a clear outline of everything, everything that you need to know, it makes it easier to follow stay on the path.
Yep, for sure.
What else you got there? Is that just like some other stuff that you had put down when you first started?
So yeah, this was just my notebook when I first started. Because I'm the type of learner where if I write something down, it kind of just sticks into my brain better. So I would just write everything down when I was learning the basics.
Yeah.
There's a bit of like manifestation in here as well, which I'm like fully for, like manifestation. Like I fully believe in that type of stuff. I got goals here from 28th of September, full-time day trader, which kind of getting there. I've got become a funded trader, which I am a funded trader now, and that's only 10 months ago.
Yep.
And then on the back, I've got, I can and I will change my life from trading.
Nice.
So I've just, like words of affirmation.
Yeah.
Manifestation.
Yep.
Like I've got my computer here. I've got a whiteboard here, like right next to me with my trading rules, words of affirmation, and a long list of manifestation.
Yep.
So like whenever I'm on my setup, and I'm either feeling emotional, like when on the markets, I've got my rules, 1 to 3 trades a day. Just stick to them.
Keep keep the vision fresh in your mind.
Yep.
If it's everywhere around you, you can't what the vision is, man.
Yeah. Dream it, see it, believe it.
Yeah,
That's
pretty much.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you're doing what most people aren't doing, which is putting the action in to achieve it as well, which is you're making the lifestyle changes to fully go all in on it.
Yep.
Because and I say this as well quite a lot, is there's no plan A, there's no plan B. Like in trading, it's going to require a lot from you emotionally, physically, financially at times.
Yep.
So there has to be a certain level. It's not for everyone.
Yeah.
It's definitely not for everyone. And there has to be a certain level of commitment if you really, really want it. And obviously you're doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. What now moving forward, like I guess the goal is to just keep stacking profits, keep stacking accounts, and just getting better as a trader. You're also like kind of starting to create a social, like online presence around your trading as well, right?
Yeah. So I'm trying to slowly like build a little bit of a social media following, kind of like what you've done.
Yep.
Whether that be start streaming on YouTube, which I'm going to start streaming on YouTube in the next couple of weeks, just trying to get everything set up. I've got an Instagram, TikTok, and just trying to slowly grow them up. And as I said at the start, like 15-year-old me wanted to be a YouTuber, so
full circle.
Full circle moment where I'm taking that step and just, as I said as well, not caring what anyone thinks, just doing it.
Damn, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Full circle.
Yep.
And the best thing is it's around something you're passionate about. A lot of people start streaming or doing things around something they're not passionate about. Maybe they think that's a lucrative path to go, but when it comes from a genuine place, it'll connect way better.
Yeah.
That's sick. Let's throw a couple like rapid fire kind of things. I guess we already talked about like some of the traits of what you would say failing traders go through, which is the emotional side of things. What do you think is like the opposite? What do you think are some of the traits of like successful traders?
Just financially free. Yeah, not working for anyone.
But I mean, like how do they approach trading? From your perspective,
if you get into a good routine, in your life, like outside of the markets,
Nice.
that coincides with your performance on the charts.
Yep.
Like I used to be, from the age of like 16, 17, pretty avid weed smoker.
Nice. Still coughing from it.
Yeah. And I've cut back that quite a lot in compared to what I was doing. And then just getting my routine outside of work, outside of the market, whether that be gym, running, just fitness. Just if you have a good routine outside of the markets, I find it to coincide with the results exponentially. Like how we talked about before, when I was $200 away from passing my challenge account. It sounds dumb to kind of say this, but I was high when I was doing those last few trades, and then ended up blowing it. And that kind of made me realize, like, you want to take your trading serious, you need to cut weed out, or cut it back, to either not smoke when you're high. I mean, when you're on the markets,
right?
And that's coincided and shown great results.
Nice.
So if you get your outside of the markets in a good routine, good structure, it'll coincide with the results.
Yeah, gotcha. That's something we talk about a lot in the mentorship, right?
Yeah.
Is like, who you are outside the charts is who you are on the charts. Because the charts are just, there's something that it's going to heighten your emotions at times.
Yep.
And whatever those like baseline emotions are outside of the charts, whether you get angry quick, you're a revengeful type of person, whatever is your baseline that you haven't worked on enough yet as an individual, will be heightened and shown on the charts.
Yep.
And the best way to get better at that and your psychology on the charts is get better as a person outside the charts. Yeah, that's awesome. So you've cut the weed out. No more freaking trading challenges baked.
Yep.
Oh, that's wild, man. Damn, I bet like when you were baked as well, you're like, man, I'm locked in. I've got this. Like, you think you're a wizard, and then it humbles you quick.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's awesome, man. And just in terms of strategy stuff, like we spoke about before, we've got like a type 1, type 2 setup, type 1 being a breakout, type 2 kind of being a bounce off a support and resistance level. Have you found like more success with one or the other?
Yeah, type 2.
Yeah.
Type 2 is like, I love type 2s.
Yeah.
Like type 1, they're still good, but my favourite play is you added it to the modules, the type 2 part 3, where it's the overextended and then it comes back down, and that's like my favourite type of trade. Yeah, type 2 is I'm finding
definitely
good success with.
Yeah, and for anyone that doesn't know, like we don't go any lower than the 5-minute time frame. So we kind of sit on the 15-minute time frame just to kind of get a gauge on the market. As something starts to develop, then we'll flick through the higher time frame, start to build a bit of a higher time frame bias. What does it look like? The 4 hours potentially looking to go towards next, hourly, 30, daily even, and then based on most likely the 15, execute a trade. Type 2 is like, it's a high win rate, probably shows up the most amount of times. And once you're in, it's a fun ride. Until it's not. No, that's sorry.
But yeah, like even just with how we were talking about the minutes that we don't go past lower than the 15. I'm sure there'll be some people in the Discord that are watching this. Just stick to Daniel's strategy. Don't do what you think is right or what other people have said. If you're in the mentorship, stick to Daniel's strategy and you'll find success.
Yeah. And that's a good point, because, and that's not just my strategy, anybody that's adopting a strategy, period, you have to stick to that entirely, because each strategy has an edge. We're not good at doing everything. We're only good at doing one really simple thing, which is our strategy. We're good at showing up at one time, executing one thing with one set of rules. If you start to blend other strategies, that edge starts to diminish, and now you're just a guy floating in a naked chart trying to figure it out. It's not how you find success. So that's a good point. Man, amazing to hear your story. You found some good success, like we spoke about earlier. I want you to size down now. You found like good early success. Now let's size down, and just all we need to think is this trade good? Is this a good trade? Money will just come now. Size down. Is this a good trade? And just keep chipping away, man. Happy for you. Keen to keep chipping away with it.
Happy to be in the mentorship.
Yeah, that's amazing, bro. Awesome,
it's
man.
been good.
All right. That's it. Thanks.